I didn't want to go down the route of Frontline. And the reason for that is because this doesn't have much to do with health and fitness in our gym. It's got everything to do with the conversations that happen around it. And I say all the time, like 95% of the conversations that we have in our gym are like just life shit. It's like very few conversations about nutrition, sets, reps, programs, all that kind of good stuff. Majority of it is just life and how we can help you turn things around and get back on track again. All right, here we go. We got podcasts on the house. It's here. It's happening, guys. The Turning Point Podcast, episode 0. Now, if you're watching this has nothing to do with health and fitness. Even though that is my background, we're not going down that route. So what I'm going to do in this episode 0 is I'm going to be going through exactly what this podcast is about, who it's for, who it's not for. And I'm also going to be telling you a little bit about my story and why this podcast is even called the Turning Point Podcast. So if you're new here, my name's Mo. If you're not new here, yes, it's my face again. We're going to go through, like I said to you guys, we're going to go through exactly what this podcast is about. So this should only be about a 10 to 15 minute episode. That way you guys get a really good understanding of it all. So first and foremost, if you're watching this, if you're here right now, you're probably in one of two places. Either number one, you've got a vision, but no traction, which is leading you to burnout. Or you've got some traction, you've got no vision, and it's hallucination. You're just literally running on motivation right now. You're probably thinking as well, like, oh, I've tried things before. It didn't work out for me. This isn't for me anymore. I don't know where to go from here. That's okay. That's what these conversations are all about. We're going to be bringing on guests, not just my face. You're going to be hearing other people and how they got themselves out of maybe a shit place, bit of a bottom of the barrel kind of situation, and got themselves out of it and made it a turning point for them. This podcast will exist and it continues to exist for not just our generation. I know it'll help us, but it's actually going to help the next generation, our kids, because this is going to start to instill belief in the household that we can turn things around no matter how shit things feel. So this is what it's all about. It's about shifting your belief system and turning things around. So why does this podcast even exist? Why did I even come up with the Turning Point Podcast? I actually threw it up on my Instagram. I was asking everyone, like, what should I call this thing? And everyone was coming at me like, Frontline Podcast, Lead from the Front Podcast. It was all very inspirational stuff. I didn't want to go down the route of Frontline. And the reason for that is because this doesn't have much to do with health and fitness in our gym. It's got everything to do with the conversations that happen around it. I say all the time, like 95% of the conversations that we have in our gym are like just life shit. It's like very few conversations about nutrition, sets, reps, programs, all that kind of good stuff. Majority of it is just life and how we can help you turn things around and get back on track again. So if you guys are here still with me and you'll listen to this podcast, a little bit about us. So we run a gym, a semi-private facility in Belmore. It's called Frontline Fitness. We predominantly work with parents who come to us in a burnt out state and we want to take them to breakthrough. And that isn't always to do with losing weight. It's to do with them changing their beliefs, their standards, their values as a leader in their household. A lot of time when they come to us, they start to tell us that they feel selfish, they feel guilty for taking time for themselves. And we understand that because this is like, something you haven't done for years on end. You've completely changed your identity. You've become a parent and now you're trying to get back to where you used to be. That's not easy. So we understand that. The gym is also a place where we try to create a sense of family, a sense of belonging. That way you know that you're in a place of comfort. For us, we've got a very clear vision and mission. Over the next 3 years, we want to impact 10,000 families to create the next generation and create stronger leaders in the household who are healthier, stronger, and more capable for them. And to do that, we can't do that with our service. We need to do that through other means. And other means for us is media, this podcast, our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and all of our resources that we have free of charge. We just want to create as much impact as possible so we can actually have that ripple effect for the next generation. And lastly, this podcast is not going to bullshit you. Like there will be moments where it will feel like, oh, are you talking straight to me? I probably am, but that's okay because in that moment could be your turning point. So you really got to be listening to this podcast with a very open mind and making sure that you're not looking at it as like you're coming here just for some motivation, but you're actually coming here to maybe apply some action off the back of it. Cool. So let's just get right to who this might not be for. I think this is really important because again, just who this is for. It's also going to help us understand who it's not for. For us, this podcast is not for people who think they're already a big timer. If you think you're already above the struggle, you already have things worked out, this might not actually be a good fit for you. On top of that, if you're someone who is here for just like a quick fix, you want to learn how to lose weight in like the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, you've got a holiday coming up in the next month, or you want to get rich tomorrow, this isn't the place for you. We don't have those magic pills. We can't give you that right now. Maybe go and get a little bit of a Ozempic. That might help you there. Next is this is not for people who have the mindset of I am unfixable. If you are listening to this podcast and you already have that mindset of, well, I'm the victim and I can't be fixed, this is not going to help you. You've got to come into this podcast, listen in, and be open-minded. Be like, okay, let's explore what these guys or these ladies have to say when I bring these guests on, and let's listen to these turning points because it could be very much so relatable back to you. Another one is if you're just here for some just daily motivation. I get called Oprah, the Lebo version. I'm not Oprah. I'm not going to be giving away things for free and stuff, but I will try to inspire. Motivation, it lasts for a solid 24 hours probably, and then you wake up tomorrow and back to the same shit. The government will probably wake up and want to slap more CGT on you or something like that. So guys, don't come here for just some quick motivation. Come here to be inspired and then apply the action off the back of it. Lastly, we're here to create cycle breakers. So we want to make sure that the people that are listening to this, they go and break cycles. People who want to create their own journey and actually want to double down on creating a bit of a legacy as well. That is a beautiful segue, I think, in my opinion, to understanding a little bit more about my journey. I will kind of go right back to maybe where I was about 11, because that video seems to be quite popular on my Instagram. You can go and have a look at it. But that was like a really pivotal moment for me. It was like a turning point for me where I realized we were almost homeless. For me, keeping it real with you guys, documenting this journey from when I was 11 up until now when I'm 30, there's been a few turning points for me. I think, every turning point had another chapter and built a new version of Moe off the back of it. So when we were, 9, 10, 11 years old, we were going through a single home divorce, domestic violence household. We then, and when I say we, I mean myself, my mother, my brother, my sister, were kicked out of our own home by our father. And we were on the road for 6 weeks, house to house. And we had no kitchen to cook from. Like, we legitimately didn't have a kitchen to cook from. So we ate for 6 weeks straight, just takeout. And as a young kid growing up, I spent one of my birthdays at a KFC with no friends, no party, just greasy chicken with my family, like a traditional Tuesday. And it still hits me till today because I realize kids should not grow up like that. And we have the ability at our own fingertips to create impact for our next generation. So it started there for me, and then moving on from there, going to about 14, 15, that's where I went through that bullying phase of when I put on all that weight. And then I realized I've got to change something. So I signed up to my first ever gym, and I went to, and it's again another popular video on my Instagram, but I went to a gym in Ramsgate, and the guy there, Rob, is still a friend of mine till today. And I own a gym, he still owns a gym, and we talk. But the turning point there was I started to lose weight. The turning point there was I started to build confidence in myself. And, I still remember the bus that I used to catch, the 958, from Blakehurst to Ramsgate, from school to the gym. So that was a very big turning point for me. After school, one of my big goals, and my mum's goal for me, was to become a police officer. But I just wasn't smart enough. So you had to get a specific ATAR. I didn't even get an ATAR. So when I left school, I had no idea where I was going. And the direction for me was just continue delivering pizzas. So I was an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21. For the last 4 years, I was just delivering pizzas. And I got so famous in my own neighborhood as the pizza guy. Cringe to say that now, but I was the pizza guy. But I got so good at it, and it taught me a lesson. And that pivotal moment there was that if you just get really good at a craft, you can make something of yourself. So then I realized, well, I really love fitness. I love movement, and I love serving people. What else is out there for me other than the police force? That's when I joined the army. So 19 years old, I joined the army, and I was in for about 2 years. then I decided to become a PT. And that's where I just, got my qualifications, became a PT in a commercial gym, and I was doing both. I was doing Army reservists and then coaching people in a commercial gym. On my birthday, I'm sitting down writing programs, and I get a call from a no-caller IP. And I answer it, and the people on the other line are like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "It's my birthday. Who's this?" And then they're like, "Get your ass up to Brisbane. Where are you?" I was like, "Huh?" Hung up, called again. And I'm like, "Hello." Like, "Mate, you hang up one more time, you're going to get charged." Who is this? Funny enough, it was one of my chief clerks who was telling me I need to be up in Brisbane for my pre-deployment training. I was like, "What?" And there was a miscommunication. So my birthday's in February. Over Christmas, there was miscommunication. And I was on a task order to be deployed to Iraq. But that didn't get communicated over to me. So I had 3 weeks notice to move and take that. Now, I took it. And the reason why I took it with such short notice was because I was homeless. So at the age of 18, I was kicked out of home. And I was 20 years old when I got that call. So for 2 years, I was just living out of my girlfriend's house. As a young man growing up without your own space, you start to doubt what you're doing in life, and you start to lose your confidence because you can't be you. So I was like, this is my escape. This is my opportunity. This is my turning point. So I took it, and I just took the plunge, didn't know what I was in for. 3 weeks, got myself ready, got my pre-deployment training done, and I was off to Iraq, a place where I just, the fear of the unknown, didn't know what was coming. 6 months deployment there, and I told myself, if I was able to keep our relationship with myself and my girlfriend, I will propose. And she was the best thing that ever happened to me. She gave me a house to live in, and I got back and I proposed to her, and we're still happily engaged till now. That was another turning point for me. Come back from my deployment, 21 years old. I feel like I've got an opportunity in life now. And when you get deployed, you get tax-free money. Sorry, government. Good thing here is that I got my first apartment. And, from a young boy who had been kicked out of home from such a young age, with his family at 11 and then officially out of home at 18, to be able to be in a position to do that just shows you that you should just take opportunities when they come at you, because you never know when your next one's coming. I took it. I got a house. I came back, and me and my wife, or my fiance at the time, had started our next chapter. And that's where I started to build the confidence that I'm able to do the gym. And that's when I did it. I opened up the gym at the age of 23. Obviously, COVID was going during that time, so there was a lot of headaches. But the turning point there for me was that I was still able to stay strong during all those shutdown opens, and then get that gym officially open in 2022. So for me, there's been many moments leading up to today, which is this podcast, the turning point. But I know that the guest I'm going to get on is going to really light some fire up your bums and give you things to get actionable on straight after the podcast. Because, yes, my story might be inspiring some people, but I know the guest I'm going to get on is going to be even more elite than that as well. I will touch on one other thing that was a massive turning point for me. And I want to preface this because I want this podcast to help more people. Last year, I lost a massive person in my life. And that was my mother. So I lost my mum last year to suicide at the age of 52. And that has got to be one of, if not the biggest turning point for me, because it showed me what a healthy, strong, and an able parent can do for a household, but also showed me what a lack of support can do for someone as well. And when someone is running on a system that is not designed for them, they will eventually burn out. And burnout only eventually leads to other things as well, which is where my mum went down. Substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and the works. So I want this podcast to make sure that if you're listening to it and you're in that position, you get yourself out. And if you don't know how, you reach out for some help. Again, this isn't just about motivation, it's about action. You guys would see it on my Instagram if you go and look at it. I walk 52 kilometers with 52 kilos on my back over 24 hours for charity. That was only last month. I did that because my mum was 52 years old. But I wanted to show everyone that you don't have to carry the load alone anymore. So again, reach out, ask for some help. This podcast, I know, will help you. So let's close it out, guys. Let's pick up the energy now. I know you've kind of gone through the journey with me, but now you understand why this podcast is alive. Now you know a little bit more about me. If you didn't, the next guest is actually a lookalike of me. That might give it away. But I'm telling you now, the next episode that's going to come up is going to be really, really high heat. We're going to go into some, deep weeds with this person. And I know this person's on TV, so you might know his face. But in saying that, guys, I want you to ask yourself one question after this episode. If there was a turning point for me today, what would it be and what action would I take? Ask yourself that question and go and take action. And if you do, I want you to DM me the word action because I want to have a bit of a chat with you in the DMs. Turning point's back, baby.